Hey guys, evening video real quick here, and some things I'm looking at here in the markets. So bottom line is, it seems to me the bearish case in the market is changing a little bit. It's kind of less bearish since last week. Now Thursday was a really critical day, and we had a really nice bounce off of Thursday. And so some things I'm looking at right here, right now. I've got Fib fans here, and how I've anchored them here on the 4-hour chart. I basically anchored it from where the MAs crossed, my MA cloud crossed bearish, and then I anchored it where the MA cloud crossed bullish. Okay, and we've been trading in this downtrend, and it looks like we might potentially be popping out of that tomorrow morning. So what we have going on here, down here on my hot percent, volume hot percent indicator. So basically we had almost all of the last 4 hours. We had very high participation on the bid side for call in the markets. So they were buying on the bid, not the ask. Very little on the ask, suggesting that buyers were willing to pay up to come into the markets in the last 4 hours of today's trading session. So some other big takeaways I also got here. We did still close below my red MA line. That is bearish, okay? But we've closed below here before, and this is the area that they've been stoutly trying to defend, knowing that if we lose this area, it could be devastating for the market. But we did manage, we still closed below that, so I can't say, oh, we're out of the woods, by no means, okay? But I do want to point that out. If we just open flat tomorrow, we're going to be coming into that a potential, the midline here of this fib fan. That could be possibly crossing into the upper side of that, suggesting that we could very easily be going up to the 4,016, 18 area tomorrow, or 10 to 15 area tomorrow before you find the initial resistance, and then possibly even higher than that. You never know. So I just want to float that idea going forward here for you traders. Okay. Let me. Okay, guys. Going Friday, as of Friday, our market maker moves. So we are coming right into the market maker move for this week, the high of the week. So basically, last Friday, the market makers were saying, "Hey, we got a broken down pattern, and there's little probability that we're going to break above my red moving average here." Okay. Bottom line is we broke down through here. There's very little chance that we are going to go back up there. So they priced in the options accordingly last Friday. And so we're coming into that area. So like I said, that's the 39.70, well, 39.90 area, somewhere around there. My actual moving average there is 39.94, I think, is the actual moving average. And so, we're probably going to be coming up and testing that possibly, if the market's holding the overnight session. So when I came in this week, I want to zoom in here, guys, and show you something I was looking for. When I was actually thinking that we have an extended long weekend and 3-day weekend, and it makes sense to me. It being Memorial Day, it just clicked in my mind that we are going into Memorial Day, and that we would potentially be closing at or near the 3,800 on the ES futures. And why is the 3,800 so important? That was the price the morning of Inauguration Day. That was about the price that I might be off a few pennies there, but that was just about the price that we opened Inauguration Day for Biden to get into office. So it just kind of the symmetry there of possibly here we are going into an extended weekend, and it's Inauguration Day. And I've been saying for a long time now that all the Biden gains are going to get wiped out, because honestly, we were due for a correction while Trump was still, in my opinion, while Trump was still in office. There should have been a correction. We didn't get it. And so knocking out Biden's gains, just, given the current climate, it just makes sense to me. So, but just keep that in mind going forward here in your trading. I'm not for sure what's going to happen. But, I do want to float that idea as well. That was my initial plan for this week. Now, that being said, I'm going to go over here into VX futures, and I want to show you guys something here real quick. And I'm going to go on a daily time frame on these VX futures so I can show you something. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in here, guys. Okay. And what I want to float this idea, which we never know, VX futures are very volatile. They trade with whatever's going on in the market. Like today, it was all about Snapchat. Snapchat destroyed the entire market. So, and I don't know what's going to happen here. But what I do want to point out here, we got ever since Thursday, Thursday afternoon, we came down really hard Thursday morning, and then we had a really strong rebound. And ever since then, the VX futures have had solid sell side action on the ask. Okay, so the red represents contracts being sold on the ask. Okay, on a daily time frame here. So they are. You can't read too much into it, but just to realize here, it seems to me that they're awfully nervous to hold volatility at these high prices. And even though we're having a 3-day weekend, it does seem like they're getting nervous here, holding these holding protection at this price point. And you would think that us being below at resistance, we're basically below that red MA on the 4-hour, that they would be actually accumulating on the ask, okay, instead of selling on the bid. So and it's doing the absolute opposite of what you would think. So just keep that in the back of your mind going forward here. I don't want to be too bearish here. The VX futures are really giving me a little warning sign here. Then if also, I also want to point out here, XLF, let me go on the daily here, guys. And some takeaways here. XLF should be leading the markets lower. And and they're just not, you see this accumulation. They're accumulating, ever since Thursday, you're getting on a daily time frame here. They're coming in here buying up financials for some reason. So I don't know how long this will last, but I do want to keep this in the back of your mind. I wanted to see big red candles here on the financials, and we're not actually getting that. And that is a big warning sign in the back of my mind, that, hey, I want to be bearish, but I might be dead wrong about this. So be aware of that situation. Just because I thought going to inauguration day on right before Memorial Day made sense, it doesn't mean it's actually going to be that case. So I do want to float that idea for all you traders. Okay. I got the skew up here, guys. And for you guys who don't know what the skew is, this is a measurement of the out of the money option activity currently hitting the markets, and they update after the close every day. Okay, and what I'm seeing right here, really exaggerated going into Friday expiration. Okay, and billions of put option contracts expired there last Friday. Okay, for worth billions of dollars. Okay, and now we're coming into that's behind us now. And so what we did, we came in yesterday. They were loading up on the puts again. They were accumulating puts yesterday. Okay, even though we had pop in the market, they didn't believe in the pop, and they were buying out of the money put protection yesterday, because that's why the skew's lower. Okay, now today, even though the markets were down, the skew has actually bypassed what we had on Friday, to the upside. So that means they were actually buying, suggesting they were buying more calls or taking off puts, the combination of the two, so basically a more bullish out of the money sentiment in today's price activity. So I just want to float that in the back of your mind, going forward here. Okay, another thing, guys. So bottom line is, if you pull up these VX futures contracts, okay, you always start with the active contract. There's some above. You don't even pay attention to those, in my opinion. You always start with your active contract, and then you look at them, and these are back in contango. Okay, so if I was a real bear and I want to be bearish for the rest of the week in the markets, I would prefer to have some backwardation going on where the front end of these contracts would actually be priced more than the longer dated contracts. Okay. So, they're still fairly close, 29.25, 29.30. It could happen in a heartbeat. It can happen, but I do want to float that idea. The VX futures are just still, you know, they're still not actually giving me a confirmation for a swing overnight short position, in my opinion. Okay, another takeaway. Tomorrow night, we have NVIDIA reporting. Or did they report tonight? Let me double check here. Okay, guys. So bottom line is with NVIDIA, my biggest concern I've got is how much of an impact has NVIDIA had, if any, from the crypto chaos. So many people are blowing up their accounts with the crypto. So, that says something in the back of my mind, has crypto, for many traders, has crypto start to get toxic for NVIDIA. And, of course, their guidance and stuff too. Growth expectations are through the roof for NVIDIA. And, they are the most premier of the semiconductors. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. There was a buyout rumor a few quarters ago for a semiconductor over in Europe. It's going to make NVIDIA one of the biggest. They walked away from that deal. We had that, possibly a charge for this quarter. We could possibly see a charge this quarter for walking away from that deal just a few quarters ago. So just keep that in the back of your mind as a possible risk. Ultimately, in my opinion, to complete this pattern, I think this right here is the shoulder. This is your head. And, instead of having a flat, ultimately, textbook head and shoulders would put you down to 53, 50, something like that. I don't think that's probably the case. But, in the mid-90s, that could be the bottom of the shoulder here around 95 or so. So just keep that in mind here. A possible move down to, 95 seems a little ridiculous, but, that is one scenario here. Look what happened to Snap today. Snap got destroyed. So, there's always that potential. We could be seeing $95 on NVIDIA tomorrow night. So you never know in this market. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to float that idea. Ultimately, I've been targeting the 200-week moving average. That's the 120 area. So possibly a move down to 120, to the downside. And I don't want to rule out that NVIDIA might rally. AMD rallied off their numbers. So, and NVIDIA is one of the best chips in the world. So, just keep that in mind. NVIDIA might have a really good update tomorrow. And like I said, the markets all seem to be a little more bullish, for what I'm seeing ever since last Thursday. So, maybe they don't want to be too short in this market until after NVIDIA reports. If NVIDIA comes in, shocks the markets, to the upside, maybe these markets don't want to have a lot of risk on protection on right now until after NVIDIA actually comes out with those numbers. So just keep that in the back of your minds here. And they're even trying to save Apple at these price points too as well. So I do want to float that. So that's just a few ideas I had here, going forward. There's a lot of things that could really, really in very short order make this market, improved a lot better. One thing, we're moving out of the severe storm season. Okay, so that might alleviate some of the potential for maybe possible tornado damage and stuff like that that could could impact inflationary or disrupt supply chains and stuff like that here in the United States. So keep that in mind here. So we might be into late July, mid to late July, before we start seeing tropical storm issues. So that might help alleviate crude a little bit in that regards. But like I said, most people are going to be paying $5 a gallon going into Memorial Day and possibly all the way into July. So remember that as well going forward here. Crude's putting in a really solid base here. Don't know if that's going to continue or not. And then, also you got China. You never know what's going to happen with them. They started alluding to what type of stimulus they're going to do to help their citizens out with the zero COVID policy, which, quite frankly, the only reason they had the zero COVID policy it's to get Hong Kong in line with the Communist Party. Okay, they're wiping out the equity in Hong Kong to say, hey, you guys, we're wiping you out. If you're not going to play ball with us, we're not going to let you be capitalists anymore. And so they're keeping locking it down. And then they had the leader there, the governor in Hong Kong. She's leaving in June, and she's came out and said they are not going to change the travel restrictions in Hong Kong until after she gets out of, I think it's May is her last name, until she gets out of office. And, so I don't even know what the next person's like. So that's going on over in China. And then plus, I don't think anything's going to change in China until Biden gets rid of those Trump tariffs. And I think that's been part of the game. They put the zero tolerance so they can get those and break the back of the, because we're on a 2 and 4 year cycle for election processes. China doesn't have that problem, so they can just wait the U.S. political establishment out for any type of policies, and just make things disrupt the supply chains and stuff like that, just enough, to where they can finally get their way. And that's exactly what's going on here. Biden's breaking under the pressure that hey, we can't let this market fall apart too bad going into the midterm elections, because they're already in trouble of losing at least the House, possibly even the Senate. And they're playing the political timeline, and that's exactly what's going on here. And I don't think it's right. But obviously you're going to have to give China something on the whole tariff front, or they're probably not going. They're just going to drag this out until the entire U.S. economy goes into a recession. So I do think that that's really what's going on behind the scenes. Okay, guys. So thanks for listening to my video. I'm getting a little bit long here and getting a little winded here too. So I will. I think I'm working tomorrow. So I will try to get back with you guys Thursday.